Alabama goes on the road, defeats the Florida Gators 31-29. A lot of people. Hell, we had, we're talking up the Florida Gators all week, but even I'll admit, Shane, when it was 21-3 early in the game, I was like, my God, here we go again. Alabama's just going to steamroll the country, but that's not exactly how it played out. And, I don't want to say luck was involved, but, there was a lot of miscues by the Florida Gators that, cracked that door wide open for Bryce Young and Alabama. And credit to them, they took advantage of every opportunity, but there was many chances for Florida to give in on this one. They never did, kept fighting, and damn near won this game. And, I hate to say it, Shane, without a miscue here, there was the Brenton Cox dropped interception. That was huge. The 2-point conversion, that was just it was just not executed well. The missed PAT. I mean, if you're a Florida fan, you got to be haunted
pass
here.
Interference.
I mean, several of them.
So, I'm with you, Mike. This was a great game, and I'd like to. As a Tennessee Volunteer fan, it is hard to do this, but I'd like to apologize to the Gator Nation because I didn't think they had a shot against this Crimson Tide team. I was under the impression, and of course, I did it. I do it every year, Mike. I get pumped up about the first couple of games, and I think I got these teams figured out. I thought I did, and I was wrong. And it is kind of nice, Mike. It is kind of nice to see that top gap a little bit thinner, because like you said, for the longest time, it feels like Crimson Tide's, conference, and it doesn't feel that way anymore. It feels like Florida blew this one. Florida had an opportunity to win, and I don't want those fans to get down and out because they still control their destiny. They still have an opportunity to play these guys again, man.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Shane. I mean, outside of the SEC, we're seeing all these upsets. We're seeing all these near upsets. And now I think the big takeaway for me is Alabama looks mortal because, again, all these miscues, and still Florida managed late in the game to potentially tie it, potentially win the game. Alabama's defense just got run all over. I know Florida's number one in the country in rushing, but if you would have told me going into this game that Emory Jones was going to throw an interception and Anthony Richardson wasn't going to play and they were going to jump out 21-3 lead, I was going to say, my God, Alabama's going to win by 50. But there's not that separation. And I like the fact that you hit on it because was Dan Mullen's main message here after the game. We're closing the gap, and we want to see these guys again. And I think after Saturday, we're still obviously very high on Georgia, but I'm much more confident that Florida can find its way to Atlanta after seeing this team play on Saturday. Don't you think?
Oh, definitely, man. I just thought it was like, you remember that Rocky and Drago, and you just thought Drago was just going to just kick Rocky's ass. And then all of a sudden, he got that punch in and you're like, oh, wait, he is human. Wait, Rocky's got a shot here, The ending didn't end like we wanted it to, or maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe you're a Crimson Tide fan.
Like I said, I mean, I think that's the main takeaway. I think Alabama is – now, hell, they're still number one. They're going to be favored in every damn game, so we're not trying to overreact here. But, you jump out to that huge lead, and I don't want to say you blow it because I think what happened was Florida's defense made adjustments. And Alabama's offense, went consecutive three consecutive 3-and-outs, if I'm not mistaken. And there was even an opportunity, Florida, right before half. That was another one where they had gained some momentum. They were moving the ball. Then they had a penalty and a negative play. And I even tweeted out, I was like, well, there goes Florida's shot. It felt like that was their opportunity to get back in this ball game. Right. And yet they continued to fight, still found a way. So, if nothing else, if I'm a Florida Gator fan, I've seen plenty of Georgia fans mock them for this, but a moral victory, if you want to call it that. But you go toe to toe with the nation's best team. I think that tells you that you've got one hell of a football team, don't you think?
Dan, you played these guys as close as anybody's played them the last two times with two really, I guess, disparate sort of offensive approaches, at least. Why is that? Why are you so much trouble for these guys?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think one thing a lot of teams play Alabama, and I think they sometimes don't think they're going to win the game. Maybe. I mean, our guys certainly they certainly expected to win the game. Played that way. We did last year. We did this year. I think that's maybe a big part of it. I think our guys here. You come to Florida, our guys are excited. Where we're headed as a program, I think. I talked about it when I got here. I want a team that can compete for championships on a consistent basis. And to do that, you're going to have to go. To compete for championships, you're going to have to beat Alabama. And as everybody said last year, what's the margin? Last year it was 6 points. This year it's 2. And hopefully we get one more shot at them and get an opportunity to compete for another championship as we move forward. But that's what we want to be as a program, and that's what our guys, how we prepare and we expect heading out there on the field.
Dan, I wanted to ask you a follow-up to what Dennis was asking you about earlier. Do you feel like you're closer to having a team that can consistently play for and win championships at this point?
We're getting there. We had the opportunity last year to play for the SEC championship, fell 6 points short. The team, number one team in the country, are 2 points short today. So I think we're getting there. I think we're at a point where we can compete. We got to get there to the point right now where we're going to go win. And I think that's the hunger in the locker room. I mean, you see our guys in the locker room. They want to win. They want to win that game. It wasn't like, hey, we played a great game. I think there's legitimate some disappointment that we didn't win the game because we expected to. But we got to keep building, got to keep recruiting, keep coaching, keep developing here. I think certainly everybody's on board making that happen. Right now we have unbelievable support from our administration. We're going to, within the next, 9 months, we're opening up an unbelievable football facility for the future for our guys, not just for recruiting purposes, but for the training and everyday purpose for our players. You go out there in the swamp, there's no atmosphere like game day in the swamp when it's rocking. Our fan base, our student body, the Gator Nation bought into what we're doing and creating that environment. So, we got to get it back where the Gators are competing in our recruiting. We got to continue to recruit well, to get it back where we're competing for championships every year.
Hey, Mike, I swear we've spent 5 minutes pumping up Florida. Let's not forget who won this damn game, Mike. Let me ask you a question, because I just think we didn't expect it to be this close. We didn't expect this thing to come down the wire, which it did. But I think both teams grew up quite a bit here in this game. Kudos to the Crimson, going to the swamp, man. Packed stadium. Yeah, Bryce grew up real quick back behind center there. So let me ask you, coming from this game, who do you think I don't know, gains the most from this ball game? Because like you said, or like I was telling you earlier, both these teams still control their destiny. They still have an opportunity to make the playoffs, to make the SEC championship. But I'm just saying, moving forward, which team benefited most this Saturday?
Maybe Alabama, Shane, because, given the fact that their youth on the offensive side of the ball, I know it's incredibly talented youth, but a lot of players in their first time, these primetime slots, and I'm specifically thinking of Bryce Young and some of these receivers and some linemen, but now they know what it's like to go on the road and come away with the W, because there's a trip to College Station looming not that far away. There's a red-hot Ole Miss team coming into town here in a little bit. And, I think you've got to build that confidence and you got to be tested. And by God, they were certainly pushed to the limit here and almost got beaten here by the Florida Gators. And we'll see. I think that'll be the big challenge, is to see how Florida responds after such a full week of just the hype and anticipation for this game, and it lived up to it, certainly, I thought.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you, all SEC teams were watching this game, man. I think they come away thinking, hey, man, we're getting closer. It's not the haves and the have-nots anymore. That's what I love about the SEC football, man. We don't like dominant teams. We like ball games, and it felt like that's exactly what we got there in the Swamp.
Let me ask you this real quick, Shane. Who's if you're going by stock, like my power rankings there, are you rising Florida more or dropping Alabama more after Saturday's game?
Great question, Mike. And I hate to take the easy road, but I think it's a combination of both. Mm-hmm. I think everybody, myself included, Vegas included, had Alabama as a shoe-in repeat, and now I'm not so sure. I'm not. Again, they won. They're undefeated. They haven't lost a game. There was some aspects of their game that looks fantastic, but like you said, there was some flaws that I had no idea that this team could be ran on like Florida Gators did, and they just established a blueprint on how to make a game with Alabama competitive. Now, that's easier said than done. I don't expect the Volunteers to come in there and say, "Hey, as long as we run the ball, we can beat these guys." They're still heavily talented, but there's a lot of other talented rosters in this conference, and I think that's kind of what I got from it. Now, that being said, Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time for a reason. And maybe the halftime adjustments weren't exactly what they had planned, but don't be surprised moving forward if this ball game or this program doesn't get better.
Nick, what concerns you most about today?
What concerned me most was that we could not sustain our intensity, especially on defense. We had a lot of mental errors, and they did a good job. They did a really good job, had a good plan. And, when you're playing the option and, everybody's got to be disciplined. Somebody's got the quarterback, somebody's got the pitch. And because we weren't doing that correctly, I think we were afraid to do a lot of other things that we had planned in the game. But we didn't get off the field on third down either. We had several opportunities, especially in the fourth quarter, to get off the field on third down where we created long yardage situations. When they went 99 yards for a touchdown, we got them backed up on the 1 yard line. We got them third down. We got to get off the field. Another situation where it was 3rd and 18, they complete a pass for 16 yards and go for it on fourth down and convert. So got to get off the field on third down. So all in all, it was just our execution on defense and the fact that we didn't get off the field on third down.
I just want to ask about Bryce and the way he handled his composure through that second half.
Yeah, I think Bryce did a really good job. I think it was very composed. It was a difficult circumstance and situation to play in. We clapped some, we went on silent some, but I thought he managed the game really well, made some really, really good decisions for the most part. We did a nice job on third down, which was really important in the game. Made some good reads. Guys made some good catches. So, I thought offensively, other than those three and outs in the second quarter, we did a good job of moving the football. We didn't always score a touchdown, but I think when you play and you control the tempo of the game on offense, and even when you move the ball and control the clock, keep the defense off the field, those are important things when you're playing good teams.